Hello YouTube, my name is Sean Connors and welcome back to The Outsiders, and today's video is all about the starter set. As you can see behind me I have the physical copy, and this is only due to a company called Firestorm Games, which is based in Cardiff, and their fantastic service. Their website is well worth a check, and I'm going to put a link to their website at the beginning of this video, so please check them out. Let me tell you a little bit about how good the service was. First of all, they had the product in and I confirmed it. I was shocked that they had it, and they still have some available. If you're interested in the UK and Europe based, who knows, maybe in America they've sold out and you want some. There's a company to go to. They quickly gave me an email to confirm I bought it. They quickly gave me an email to confirm that it had been picked, and then they gave me an email to confirm it had already been shipped. Now that was immense. That all happened within an hour. So that's how great the service was. And the next day, here it is. It actually arrived Saturday. I'm doing this video on Sunday. I want to get it out Sunday night because I've just played it. I have to be honest and say it's a fantastic system, but to be able to give you a little flavour of it, and it is only going to be a flavour of it for this particular video, we need to delve into it and have a look at how it actually works and plays. So let's do that. Chapter 1 is all about how to play the game, and that's taken quite nicely taken care of in the book itself that comes with it, the basic starter rules. There is a PDF, again I'll add that to the beginning of this video, where to find a PDF. The PDF is more detailed, it gives you how to roll up characters and things like that. This doesn't. This is designed, the starter set is designed for a new GM or a new player to jump in with everything they need in the box. It's got pre-rolled characters, I'll show you those in a moment. It's got dice to get you going, and the bottom line is it's fairly easy to navigate. And in fact, it's one of the most easiest systems I've seen to navigate around and find things on. And it does this in two ways, which is, I had to think about it a bit to really understand it. Of course, you have an index at the front of the cover. The book is glossy, the paper I like. People complained that it was a bit flimsy and they would like to see a little bit more. Well, I like this, personally, I liked it. There were many ways I can see of me probably dividing this up in a way, laminating them and putting it into its own folder. I can imagine me doing that and probably going ahead and doing it anyway. And I like the fact that the index is on the front, so as a new person I don't have to go fumbling around for the book to find it. And they back this up by having a printout on the back of The Lost Mind of Phandelver, which is also in the box set, which we'll cover off in another video if this one is well received, which is a fantastic index here that you can print off and then add to this to find the rules in here fairly easily. I really quite like that, having a sheet to hand as a new GM. I can see that working quite well. Now the how to play part is 7 pages long. Each chapter has its own glossy sheet. Beautiful, I like that. It explains about what the dice mean, how to role play. It explains the core mechanics of the game in not too much depth, fairly easable, discernible chunks. And I think anybody from a starting point could probably get up and attempt to play within 30 minutes, whether they, as long as they've got a DM and a few players, you could have a go at it. The Lost Mine of Phandelver would take a little bit of time to read through, so I'm assuming that somebody spent about an hour reading the first little bit off and understands it, but they could jump in and play, let's say, within a couple of hours. That's pretty damn good for a role-playing game. And once they're up and running and trying things out, I don't think it's too difficult to keep playing and keep running it. There's enough material in this The Lost Mine of Phandelver, probably for somewhere in 20 to 30 hours of play, so plenty for the beginner until the Player's Handbook comes out in August. So the How to Play guide, excellent little beginning, and I think that leads me nicely on to the next chapter. Chapter 2 is all about combat, and in this particular chapter, again, just for ease, again starts off with a colour plate. All chapters have these little sidebars that you'll see highlighted that help someone who's new navigate the pages and understand the flow of the game. The combat's well covered. It's more theatre of the mind in case you're interested. It's clear to me that as the game expands into the Player's Handbook, it's going to allow you the option to choose which style you want to play, whether you want miniatures or with a battle mat, or whether you want to go theatre of the mind style. I'm happy to see both, and I think it's fantastic because you can choose whichever works for you, and that seems to be the flavour of this game. The combat is very well handled. It takes somebody through step by step how various things work, from initiative to surprise, how the attacks are handled, how somebody can ready something, how he can hide, how to make an attack, all the sort of stuff you would expect. And if you played any third era products, if you're an experienced player or GM, you're going to find this a very comfortable pair of shoes. A lot will make sense to you straight away and be very easy to follow. And interestingly, you won't get confused. I think that's one of the beauties. When you move from 3 to 3.5 to Pathfinder, there is some confusion. There are differences in the wording used. This is very straightforward and very easy to get used to because of the core mechanics that are at play. So let's have a little talk about Chapter 3. Chapter 3 covers off things like travelling, marching order, long rest, short rest, how that works in play. These are differences that are going to be unique to this particular edition. I like this a lot. It allows players to take realistic short breaks where applicable. You still got to take an hour out. You can't just take a 10-minute break and get back into it. But it's good. You recover a little bit, but not too much. And if you really want to cover everything, you've got to rest overnight. These are good touches. It covers off the experience, how that works, how you level up. Everything about the armour, the weapons is covered under the adventuring, and even the equipment that you're going to need to play the game. As I said, it comes with some characters. There are actually 5 characters preloaded. We'll have a quick flick of those. And these are already filled in for the GM or player. It comes with each character sheet, also covers off all the equipment and proficiencies that character is going to need to do. And I like the way that this looks. It's very ergonomic. It feels very neat. It's clear and precise. It's done in a way where obviously a lot of skill's being used at what needs to be where for most people to find and navigate to. This is not like some character sheets of the past where you actually need a bit of a Mensa skill to actually navigate the sheet. I like the fact it's on 2 sides of paper. I think it'd be very easy to imagine a sheet that's fold-outable and you've got everything you need in front of you as a player. They add in here, as we're talking about adventuring, a poster, which is all about encounters, so weekly games people can jump into and get some experience around the table, and probably even run some games at their local shops to get experience of doing it. And also a lovely a lovely character sheet that will photograph beautifully because it's on this type of very high quality paper, which again I very much approve of. So adventuring, beautifully handled, very easy and effortless to get into. As I said right back in the video, this starter box you see behind me it's just to get you in and playing. If you want to do your own characters and stuff like that, you will need to refer to the PDF, and it does take a bit more reading. You know, where you can jump into this and play quite quickly, you're going to need to take a few hours out to go through the PDF. And again, depending on how this video is received, we may well go into that PDF in quite a bit more detail. But anyway, let's move on to the final chapter. Spellcasting is covered off in the final chapter of the book. It's in a bit more detail. There are a number of unique changes to this that I really approve of. The chapter itself gives some clues about how the spell system is actually going to change in the player's handbook. It's also got some very interesting upscaling of spells. So for example, if you have a first level spell and you move its slot up, then it does something different. A good example is if we take Magic Missile as a good one to use. I think it's a familiar stock. You will recognise these spells. For anybody who's got familiarity around D&D, you'll recognise them, but they've been beautifully tweaked to fit the system and the core mechanics. For example, Magic Missile, each dart deals 1d4 plus 1 force damage to its target. At higher levels, when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 2nd level higher, the spell creates 1 more dart for each spell slot above first. So a nice touch, so you can upscale the spell into the slots you've got, or not, as the case may be. These are neat twists, and generally every spell normally has, or several spells have, chances to upscale them. I like the way spells can be relearned. I like the way the slots work. There's a lot to recommend the spellcasting class, and it's a lot of fun. And none of the classes at all uninteresting to me. I find all of them fascinating, and you need all of them for a good group of balance, and they work very well. I like the fact that, going back slightly here, how you can multi-class in this edition. Now this is unique because I've got to be honest, I've got a real problem, bugbear with 3rd edition products and Pathfinder. It's really difficult to multi-class well. Yeah, you can do it, but certain classes do generally not really work very well, and that's generally spellcasting classes get so diluted it's unworkable. I can see a lot of workarounds with the option of multi-class, and I'm sure it's going to be covered off in greater detail. I've seen it in the PDF, it's lightly covered off here in the rulebook, but I can see it's going to be covered off in even more detail in the player's handbook that will come out in August. So I'm very excited to see these changes. It makes multi-classing interesting for the first time in years. I'm quite excited to see how players actually interpret this and what they do with it. So it really has me very, very interested to take it further. And again, for spells and other things, it's a bit more expanded in the PDF, so you can learn the game quickly using this, expand out into the PDF, and you've still got plenty more options open to you. So a lot of fun. I won't spoil too much for you because there's a lot to see, a lot to cover off. Most of it's quite subtle, and I'm sure you're already beginning to see people out there already raving about this system, and I can quite see why. The final part of the book is all about conditions. That's covered off at the back of the rulebook. I like that. The conditions is a simple page to photocopy, like a lot of things. You can imagine keeping these things in a nice, neat, tidy DM's toolbox or file. I like that. I can give you an example of how it works in play. Blinded came out today in the game I was running. I'm going to read it for you. So a blinded creature can't see and automatically fails any ability check that requires sight. That all makes sense. And the attack rolls against the creature have the advantage mechanic, so you get to roll 2d20, and you take the best one. This is a core mechanic within D&D Basic. And the creature's attack rolls has the disadvantage because it can't see it can sense you're there, but it has to roll twice and take the worst one. It's a brilliant little mechanic. This is used multiple times throughout the game to create lots of flexibility. Great examples are Dwarven disease resistance. You get to roll twice as an advantage if you come under the effect of something. It's really neat and really works effortlessly well in play. So conditions are easily covered off. They're again very familiar, and anybody who has any experience around any more modern products will clearly recognise this and be able to quickly understand what the conditions do. What that leads me to do is give my final thoughts about this wonderful starter set. It does exactly what they set out to achieve. It's effortlessly easy for any new player or GM to actually get up and running fairly quickly, and for an experienced GM like myself, I could be up and running with the pre-made characters for a group of 5 people or more. It's very easy from the PDF to work out characters, which I love, in probably less than half an hour. That's a fantastic achievement, yet still create a lot of depth. You can clearly see that how the Player's Handbook is expand the options, and you can clearly see how many of the elements are going to work together and giving you more and more options to actually enjoy this game. With your Theatre of the Mind, or Tactical, the options are there for you. And you can see that's been incorporated into the game. You can take layers in, take layers off. A brilliant achievement, fantastic value for money in my book, and this is going to see plenty of time at my table. In fact, I have to be honest straight away and say I have not enjoyed a session more today because the rules did not get in the way of it. I didn't have to be some walking encyclopedia to run this game, although I don't mind, but I found it made it a lot of fun for me, and it made it reminisce. It made me remind me back to where the maximum amount of fun was at the Gaming Taverns, when I was able to run games, understand what was going on, and with all my years of experience now, this just makes it even more of a joy to really get into the game, explore the characters in a lot more detail, and just generally enjoy it without being bogged down by some of the layers. I'm a fan. I hope you will be too, and I hope you give this game a chance. One thing's for sure, you don't even have to pick up the starter set. The great thing that Wizards have done is given you a PDF free. By all means, have a look at it as a taster, and if you like what you see, pick up the starter set or wait for the book to come out in August. But I tell you what, I don't think you're going to be disappointed, because I think this is absolutely fantastic. There aren't many things that I would query or change. Overall, a top product, and it's an absolute privilege today to actually tell you all about it, review it. Hopefully you like what I'm doing with the format, and if you do, please like, please share, please subscribe. And once again, when we get 50 likes with this video, I think what we're going to do is come back and give you a little taster about the Lost Mines of Phandelver. And I think one thing I can say to anybody who recently played in a Warhammer game of mine, they saw some flaming skulls. Hey, I noticed there was a few in here, which was great. Made me feel very happy, actually. Love that idea. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Take care of yourselves and happy gaming, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.